Hi, this is GadgetMan404 and today I'm going to do a review on the KV Splash Action Camera, or short for kitvision Splash. Now basically, as you can see, it is full HD 1080p, it also records in 720p, it's got a 12 megapixel photo mode and it has a case which is waterproof up to 15 meters. Now the case at the moment is on my motorbike, I'm using it as a dash cam, but all these pictures you see here are what you actually get with this camera. The waterproof case, you get a 90-degree adapter, a hook mount, a flat adhesive mount, a ventilated helmet mount and a bicycle mount. I'm using that mount with that shell, so I'm using like a dash cam effect on my motorbike. It has, I think it's a 5, and let me have a look, try and get that in focus for you. There you go. Takes up to 32 gigabyte SD or micro SD card. It's got a 5 megapixel CMOS sensor, 120 degree angle lens, 2.5 inch screen or 1.77 TFT LCD. It's got micro HDMI out, built-in microphone, built-in rechargeable battery. Battery life is up to 90 minutes and it weighs approximately, I think it's 61 grams when I weighed it. 1080p at 25 frames per second, 720p at 30 frames per second. It is AVI format, JPEG for the photos. It does have single shot, time continuous and screen modes. So that is the box. This is the camera. Now there's your micro HDMI out, reset mode. Switch it on by just holding that second. So to go through the modes, what you do is basically there's a mode button on the side, so you press that and that changes into photo mode. That's telling you how many photos at 12 megapixels, 2482. Battery indicator at the bottom that you're using a micro SD card. It does support anti-shake. As I say, you can take one photo, bursts of photos, like a time lapse. When you set the camera to take photos for X amount of time, the maximum time it can take a photo for is 10 seconds, which was a bit disappointing to me as I fly quadcopters, and my purpose for this camera is to mount it underneath like so, and then basically when I'm flying around I would just set the photo mode and let it do bursts of photos while it's up in the air, which I thought was really good. I didn't realise until I got it home that the maximum time is 10 seconds, which isn't really long enough. I have another camera which was a lot less but not as good a quality taking photos or video, and basically you, in certain mode, you press the button and it basically records until it either runs out of battery, runs out of memory, or you actually turn the camera off, which this was what I was hoping with this camera, that basically when I got to you know, I don't know, I find something and I think, oh, I'll investigate, take some random photos and then come back. You have to find the thing you're looking for first. You've got 10 seconds to take the photos and then land and then change the mode and so on. So that goes from photo mode, then you press it again. Then any photos and videos that you have, it will play them back on the screen. So if you want to play back this video, you press the power button, just hold it in, and it will say play or delete. To scroll down, you press the side button, or if you want to play, you just press the menu button and it will play. Now obviously I'm recording a video through a phone, you're not going to really get the detail of what the camera is seeing, but you can see the video quite clearly on the back of the camera, which I thought normally what I had to do with my old camera was I'd have to just take it for granted that I've got the shots, wait until I got home, then take the memory card out, put it into a card reader in the laptop, or micro SD card reader, plug it into my phone, do it that way. Whereas now I can play the video back straight away while it's still connected to the quadcopter, which I thought was quite cool. So if you want to stop that video, you just press the power button again, come out of that mode, press there's some more videos. That's it. Photo, so you want to change it to camera. Side button, just a sharp burst. Right, now I want to have a look at that, so press the side key. And there you have it. I mean, you know, all the colours are there. It's the camera, it's my phone, it's all auto-focusing. But you know, I think that is really nice, and it's not a bad job, and that's set at 12 megapixels, so when you play it back through a computer, I think you'll get real good quality. Now it's not massive. You've got your micro SD slot on the side. I think you've got your charger port, is that little port there at the bottom, so you've got your card there, USB there, the lens there, which is like a board camera, where obviously the camera itself is thicker than a board camera, but the principle, the shape, how the lens sticks forward. So when I'm mounting this camera, I take into account that that is sticking forward by a good ½ an inch, so then I still move it further back to give me the correct CGI. And I've had some little flights with this camera with my 6-inch props, and it's been great. I've used 5-inch, 4.5-inch pitch. It flies around, no problem, but there's no power there. So if you wanted to, do a punch out and want to go really high, you won't with 5-inch props carrying this camera, because it's quite weighty, it's 60 grams. But if you use 6-inch props, 4.5-inch pitch, you will have no issues at all. So your mode keys there, your micro or your mini HDMI there, and you reset. Let's go through some settings. So say you want to change some settings on the camera. So go to that, go to that. There. So these are like the exposures and all that. So you want to change the mode, so you're in that setting. Now that's for the video settings, because that's highlighted. If you press the menu key or the power button again, then you can change date auto power off, beep sounds, language, frequency, TV mode, format the card, default settings. So if you just, that's it. Turn it on, turn it off. So hold that menu key in again. And then you want to go down, so you want size, so then you choose again power button. And there you go, you can change 720p, 1080p, then you choose the power button again, exposure rate, and you know, all that sort of stuff. Anti-shake on. And you know when the anti-shake is on, you've got loop recording, motion detection. You can record audio or not and have a date stamp, which I do record audio at the moment, but if you don't want to, you can change all those settings. And then just hold in the key and that takes you back. So there you go, anti-shake is on, you've got the date, the time, the year, you've got how much video you can take, so an hour of high def. If you change that to 720 you get probably an hour and a half. Doesn't support slow motion frame rate. So if you want to, like with a GoPro and things like that, and you want to get the snow flaring out as you're on skiing and all that type of thing, I don't think this camera supports it. But to be honest, the price of this camera was £50, and I purchased this from the Gadget Show Live at the NEC in Birmingham on the 10th of April, which was 2 weeks Friday. It should have been 70, but it was like a trade price. They do different cameras. They do like helmet cameras for snowboarders and skateboarders in mind. They are Wi-Fi enabled. This would be a real good idea if this was Wi-Fi enabled, so you can pair it up with your smartphone. And what this is connected to, my quad, motorbike or radio controlled car, and then basically you can see on your phone screen, sort of like a cheap man's FPV. It's only accurate up to 50 odd meters, but when you're getting used to FPV, I think that's, you know, you don't want to go too crazy. And as you can see, the angle, it's a wide angle lens, but it doesn't really distort the picture. You can just see a little bit of a bow at the top of the screen, but it's not really prominent. You know, where some of them it really like a horizon line, it's like a circle type thing. This isn't actually too bad. So for the money and for the size and everything, this is a real good buy. It's a great little camera. Highly recommend people giving this a go. There's your audio speakers. They're built in, so the sensors there. And at the top, that's your charger light. It goes red while it's charging and goes out when it's charged. As I say, it's very minimalistic. You've got a tripod mount underneath if you want to screw it to a tripod and set it at a certain height, certain angle. It's also got, I haven't set an auto shut off, but I think if it's been left on for a few seconds and no buttons, or a minute or whatever, and no buttons have been pressed, then it turns itself off, which is great because that's another way of saving your battery. But yeah, This is the Kitvision Splash Action Cam 1080p. You know, you get the case, all your mounts. Downside, it only goes to 15 meters, which is fine for messing about in a swimming pool, and it doesn't have Wi-Fi, which you can get cameras similar to this. I think there's one called the SJ4000, more sort of GoPro style in shape. This is quite square, whereas obviously the GoPro is a little bit longer and a little bit shorter, but therefore, you know, between 250 and 400 odd pounds, and with Wi-Fi, you know, you're looking at 300 pounds plus. They do one similar to this, like a cigar shape, for helmets and skateboarders in mind, and that was like £150, so it's still £200 cheaper than a GoPro. Again, the video playback that I've seen, I've got a class 10 Samsung SD card or micro SD card, but I've got one that transfers at something like 48 megabits per second, so I went for a really high rate, not just a class 10 but a high transfer rate, so as it's recording you're probably getting a little bit better clarity than if you're using like a class 1. So yeah, this is the Kitvision Splash Action Camera. This has been Gadget Man 404 out.